Hello again, it's KRBrickBot, and there is a good reason why I put off reviewing some of the things I still have. Just my tradition of reviewing new toy lines an entire 1 year late after their launch. In case in point, and also the smaller, affordable versions of the main toys. The 믹스체인지 series. The first 5 characters, like Super 5. Yep, 4 similar sized ones and then the one slightly bigger one. Taking a look at one of the packaging. So unlike the bigger Superior toys, these are a lighter shade of green but still a uniform international universal style. Like, not much Korean, just more English text. Make your very own Superior with 믹스체인지. All the parts spread out here. Nice, like, flat shaded vendors. Special feature. Press the button and open his mouth. What is a 믹스체인지? Take the parts you want and make their own custom. Store your 믹스체인지 in their very own storage unit. Actual product may look different than the picture. Yeah, so just a basic styled word mark on the side, and then the Super 10 logo. So reopening this, I find it easier to open the top and the bottom. The top to get the plastic tray out, just having the assembled figure and accessories to the side. And the bottom has the assembled storage box. First up, the popular red one, the 믹스체인지 Tyrannus. Showing this mini subline's super deformed chibi style, as most evident in the smaller chest and a slightly bigger head, and the maybe bloated limbs. But even so, it has that nice Roman soldier or Spartan motif with the sword, shield, and especially the head. Yeah, that Spartan helmet crest, that big old white crest. In a robot faceplate. And then the T-Rex as a shoulder. That's a very nice look for a Tyrannus transformer. The back isn't painted that much, and also hollow bits and screws. Yeah, but that's the back side. And the appendix or the super core in Korean, for some reason, the styling of this subline just has this like an hourglass. Like an hourglass that's pixelated. Yeah, it's not like the symbols of the characters in the appendix. It's just like a sticker. I mean, yeah, that's an odd style, just having like a video game style pixelation that's like a very different aesthetic from the rest of the toys. Articulation, it has a full swivel head, an odd diagonal shoulder, bicep that curls, no wrist, so you can do that, and then, yeah, another odd diagonal. Waist swivel, full forward and back box socket and side out, and then an obtuse knee bend, and that connection joint also doubles as a thigh joint. And then a little bit of ankle tilt and then the full foot around for connection. Yeah, just due to the bicep swivels, I mean, this is the most posable of the little assortment here, but yeah, but odd diagonal shoulders kind of limits the posability. So unlike their bigger toy counterparts, these 믹스체인지 Superiors change by parts forming. Clasp the 2 shield halves here, right on the tail. Just gonna say it up front, these 4 pieces are the remaining pieces that left out of the alt mode. The head, the arms, and the sword. Flip out this white pin, and then plug it there. There are holes on the side of the legs, which you attach to the holes here on the torso. And then the pelvic area just kind of just goes there, just folds there, just vestigial, but that's a little chibi super deformed style Tyrannus. Yeah, it's kind of adorable, just with the big head and the big stomper feet. Tiny little arms. Ignoring that paint bleed and scratch. His secondary gimmick is this button on the side. Which just pressing it just makes him open his mouth. Just like a little chompy. Chomping action. Or talking action. Even these little 믹스체인지 chibi Superiors have a common unifying motif. Which is these gears, these clockwork gears and the chain, which are totally not repurposed from bicycle chain motifs. And I guess subtly on the T-Rex cheeks, although I think they were more defined on the bigger toy. Hollowed out here. Next we have 믹스체인지 Kongor. Kinda looks like maybe a young Kongor just because he doesn't have a buff chest or smaller head. Yeah, it's a slightly bigger head and or slightly smaller torso. Yeah, just nice blue and gold and a bit of dark blue in there. Just carrying along that Wukong inspired robot mode. Besides his accessories being everything, I mean, he has the pixelated style Pendex core. And the Mind Staff, the gorilla arms that form a big old staff, just a big bow staff, which is... There's not much good posability. He can only hold it like a bazooka. And it's hard to get him into a more staff position because of how the shafts are. So he can only hold it like one half of it like a big old stick, but the other half just like a bazooka. If you want that. Articulation, a full head swivel that gets in the way of the gorilla head in the back. Full arm swivel. A full bicep swivel, but no elbows. Little bit of outward. An oddly diagonally cut waist swivel that pops off the core, so kind of a locked articulation. Forward that much, but immovable loincloth really limits it. Back that much and splits that much. Every connector joint can be a thigh swivel, and every connector joint can be a foot swivel, and a bit of ankle tilt. I mean, this is a pretty good articulation, but just no elbows at all, rather than no bicep swivels. Parts forming transformation from Robot Man to Robot Gorilla. Yeah, just put the arms side to side opposite of each other and take off the lower arms. Head off, head on. Turn the torso around. This blue peg just plugs in here. His big old pecs. They're kind of very squarey and bulgy. Reverse legs and reverse the direction. Gorilla toes. Gorilla arms go into place with robot arms. And then the Pendex core in the shoulder. It's a big blue head oversized gorilla. Yeah, I guess the back, with the diagonal curve does replicate the curved spinature of the gorilla when walking around. Curled upward like this, so yeah, just like this. Also, those arms are too big and or those shoulder ports are just too small or just doesn't have enough clutch power that these gorilla arms will keep flopping around and falling off. That's really annoying. Superficial Superion gear motif right on the D-sided kneecaps that without them really would not have anything else aesthetically common. Special feature. Press the button to fire its fist. It's a spring load, but it's a very weak spring and or really heavy projectile fists. They fit only their respective arms. They can't be rotated. And they don't fit the main system of connectors. They're so weak they're better for drop bombing. Next is Rektor, or Ninja Raptor in Korean. Yeah, so it's that green and black double combination raptor into a ninja motif robot, especially with that upper jaw of the raptor head forming a ninja cowl with that ninja face inspired head. As far as proportions go, he's a little bit squat and squish and fat and wide. His Pendex, for some reason, has a peg on it when the others don't, which makes them incompatible with the others. Yeah, I mean, why does this one get an extra peg? Because friction alone is not enough to hold this together? The special feature, his Shadow Star, this ninja star, it can be spun like a fidget spinner with too much friction. And they can just be held in the hands just to whack. But these holes are seriously not compatible with the main connectors. I mean, that's a missed opportunity. Why do these holes have to be smaller? For articulation, Ninja Raptor has no head swivel because of the face inside the dino head. At least it has a waist swivel. But the raptor claws get in the way of the connectors on the hips. Shoulders around, provided you get these raptor claws out of the way. Biceps swivel, but it's just an elbow curl. Yeah, this is just a shoulder swivel. There's no outward. So yeah, that's really lame. Ball socket forward and ball socket backward. Less than 90-degree split. Every connector can be a thigh swivel and a pretty obtuse knees that just pops off and then it gets to put down for transformation. This one's the least articulated. I mean, it has those intermediate points, but then not the shoulders. Really not very good shoulders. Transformation into double raptors. Take off the dino claws on the back. Pop off and then flip out. Jaw on the bottom. Turn this around. Yeah, take this half of the tail, just clip it on here. And then take the tail here. Yeah, clip that there. And then the feet here, that's why it has these male pegs on the hips. Double raptors. Also, good on them for not having any leftover parts. Slash is the black one and Echo is the green one. Yeah, nice little twin raptors, like a nice black and gold with an accent green for Slash, and then dominantly green and a bit of titanium for Echo. And then when they combine together, they form a nice coherent color scheme. Yeah, I mean, it has those big claws, though I think I might have reversed those. The hollow bits should be on the outside to match those claws. Speaking of hollow bits, yeah, it's odd that it's pretty smooth here, but then the hollow waffling of the claws are on the outside rather than on the inside. The insides are pretty solid there. That's like hollowness on both sides. That's really weird to budget out. There's the motif on Echo's cheeks. Yeah, so the other nice little dino that's wide Echo. Yeah, just the TV just really went wrong here. That's ridiculously wide. Also, due to the way how this is a permanent split, if you try opening the jaw, his upper jaw splits. I mean, that's just weird. This is my least favorite of the Mix X changes. I don't know, just because of the cheaper proportions. Really exaggerated here. I mean, I just can't get over this. This is really ridiculously wide. Next, we have Mix X change Whitehorn, Duke Knight in Korean. White, lilac, purple, and shiny pearly gold motif. Holy paladin look. Yeah, with the tassels on the chest and the studded appendix. Yeah, this is, that bright kind of gold. Little swirly, might be a little translucent. Yeah, I don't think this is gonna shatter, but it feels a little cheap to have this kind of bright swirly gold. Of course it's chibi with the small torso and the big head. And the bigger feet. His weapon is this lance. That's at an odd angle because of just a simplicity. Would be great if this was straightened out and filled in. Articulation, the head has a full swivel. The shoulders go all the way around. Shoulder mount in the torso outward, which is very limited. Upper elbow swivel and lower arm swivel, which is easily removable, but that's not intentional because these holes are actually too big for the main system. I mean, why do you have a double joint there, huh? That's really redundant. He has no elbows. Nice torso swivel. Ignore the horse on his butt. Just a little bit of outward, and every connector can be a thigh swivel, and then the almost 90-degree bend, and then every connector can be a foot swivel, and then the ankle side to side. I take it back. Whitehorn is the least articulated because no outward legs and no good outward shoulders and no elbows of any kind. Parts forming transformation just involves pairing up. Yeah, these have the clips together, so clip those together. Take those pieces off. These clip together back to back. And then turn the torso around, take this off, take this off. Unicorn head goes here. Red connectors go here. Shoulder blocks just go here. Or here. The entire backpack mount goes on those holes. These are the front feet, just plug them in the shoulders. And then take this purple port and just plug it in that center port there. And then the horse legs that were on the legs are now the actual back legs. And these are the leftover pieces, just the feet and head. That was the most involved parts forming to get this Robo Unicorn. Yeah, it has a nice color layout throughout. Yeah, the nice shaping of the torso, upside down torso, and the Superior gear motif here. And the little wings. Horse articulation, I guess it's just outward like this, so funny horse poses on those knuckle dragging robot hands behind the horse hooves. I guess it can ratchet kick outward, so you can just have him back kick. The head swivels. And a special feature is pressing this button just flaps the wings. Yeah, it's gravity powered. And lastly, we have Dragonius, or Double Dragon in Korean. Yeah, so it's that cool split robot, like completely icy blue dragon on one side and a fiery red dragon on the other side, with silver accents and gold accents and transparent plastic. Yeah, I guess the connectors for the most part are solid plastic, so I think the transparent should be fine. I mean, there's transparent holes here, yeah, so yeah, be wary of transparent plastic. But Young Toy uses good transparent plastic, so it doesn't look that chibi-fied compared to the others. The head is slightly bigger, and maybe the torso a little longer, maybe the slightly thicker arms and the bigger dragon heads. But I guess this looks okay in the least chibi style if you don't like the chibi style. His special feature is this switch on the back, which activates built-in battery light piping. This is a pretty neat idea, just have a little light box in the torso of a Transformer-like figure just to give it perpetual light piping instead of just having dead eyes. But with the nature of this plastic, the blue shines much brighter than the red. His main weapons are the tails called the Frozen Staff and the Ember Staff. Pretty solid tails, he had no hinges there. Yeah, so that goes in one hand, like a little trident fork that's really warped due to the soft plastic, and the other one that kind of looks like a screwdriver. I suppose you can clip them together to form one weapon, which is a club thing. For articulation, he has a full head swivel, which is actually an improvement from the bigger toy. Shoulder in torso swivels, so that's weird shoulders to go around. No elbows on the dragon neck, just fists in. Ball socket forward at a slight angle, odd angle, and backwards that much, and splits that much. Every connector can be a thigh swivel, that's pretty obtuse, and nothing at the foot. It has two permanent splits, so it's a little bit of a rocker, so you can't have it completely flat. And of course, no waist swivel because this is half and half. And rotational dragon wings to get Dragonius into his double dragon mode. Yeah, it just basically involves just rearrange the arms using one of the dragon arms for each. Plugging in the front, rotating the front, and then taking the combined tail and just plugging in the back here, which is right under his groin. His groin always has these plugs. Yep, so there's a two-headed dragon mode. Yeah, it's kind of odd that the arms are on the neck. Yeah, so as they kind of move, they're a little loose like that. And as the rear feet are exactly the robot feet reversed with the claws, I mean, it's hard to get into all four pose. And it could do a standing dragon, so there's that. Flashlight mode. Now to split it into two dragons. Yep, that means leaving out this light box. That only has this one connection port, so it's pretty useless. Yeah, split that dragon leg into two. Preferably this way because of a transparent clips, oh no. And then also the wings, I prefer to split them along lengthwise rather than like this. If I do it like this, it's going to easily crack the little clips here. The split wings go in these golden holes. Bit of a tight fit actually. I guess these go into either hole here. Then both arms go in the base of the neck. Tail goes in the thigh section, so you can have a bit of a ball socketed swivel. So that's Infernus, or Faigon in Korean. It's just about the exact same process for the other half. And Cyberus, or Aigon in Korean. Nice little pair of fire and ice dragons. I guess their SD heads are slightly bigger than their original toys. Fairly forwardly posable, like yeah, just side to side, and then the back legs, and then the tail. Although, you know, because of permanent fists, it looks kind of weird if you look at them straight on. Just, they're always biting on the donuts. Anyway, I don't prefer to keep them in this mode because of just the stress of the connectors and the wings for some reason. And I guess I'll default to robot mode for these two. So why would you get these versions over the mainline toy versions? I mean, they're actually not that expensive. I mean, they're more in the 30s and the 50s. So for 10 bucks less, you could get these, or for 10 bucks more, you could get the full-size ones. I mean, I guess the secondary reasons would be just the smaller size. I mean, I guess the smaller size do fit better with the deluxe Transformers, but they're stylized, they're super deformed, so they might not fit well. But of course, the main gimmick for this subline is the modularity creative building with all the modular parts. It's just a simple system of the holes, completely round pegs, and the rubber connectors. I mean, I guess they hold in pretty well, but the rubber, it's malleable. They could easily pop off, so rubber is not my preferred type of joint. I would prefer the raw plastic. Now, is there any canonical story reason or open possibility that these Superians gained the ability to mix all their parts with each other? No, of course not. This is just building fun. This looks 5mm. Does that mean? That's so infuriating. They're like 1mm bigger than the standard universal 5mm system. Like literally 1mm. I saw the photos online and they're perfectly round pegs. I was just imagining what sort of endless combinations I could do, just mixing with not just these toys by themselves, but with other toys like the Transformer Kingdom Fossilizers. That would be really fun to combine. But if we want to combine it with weaponizers, then I'm gonna have to do a little cheating and extra modifying to get them barely stick together. But the non-systematic connection of joining the halves of Tyrannus' shield are exactly 5mm. 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 And the Twin Dragon's rubber wing ports are they do fit 5mm. I mean, unless the rubber was stretching them out, yeah. But before they jam those in, they do plug in pretty well. It's even more infuriating. They could have just made this all 5mm, but they didn't. I'm just less incentivized to go full creative mode with this exclusive building system, because not only do the rubber joints just give it less structural integrity, but it's not compatible with leading brands. Really, apart from the non-standard 5mm connectors, the only Transformer that comes to mind that immediately fits the standard system of Super 10 system of parts is Kingdom Mirage's erroneously oversized 5mm port in the back. Someday I just might want to replace all of these rubber holes with 3D printed plastic exactly 5mm holes, put a ring adapter around these solid holes to make them 5mm, and somehow the most daunting millimeter shade to make this exactly 5mm. Yeah, but that's like 3 things and like maybe hundreds of parts just to make this all 5mm compatible with the main system. They could just be fine as a yarn and just be compatible with another obscure building system. You know what they say, limitation fosters creativity. So, someone could just get creative just working with only these parts. But sometimes the problem with these building system toys, they're not optimized to be super creative. I mean, the best they're just disassemblable action figures. I mean, they just have the detachable joints, but apart from the joints from their intended mode, they don't really have any other extra accommodating connection points. I mean, I think the best creative thing is just make silly body part swapping. If only these were 5mm, then I would recommend them in a heartbeat, because, just more parts to add to a wide system of parts, but just because they're like literally 0.5 millimeter bigger than the standard system, just making them incompatible just by itself, it's really hard to recommend, because of just, with building and matching with just these parts, just these action figure parts, it is kind of limiting. I mean, maybe I'm just limiting myself, but it's just, there's only so many combinations you can make with just these parts and with only these connection points. Like, if you're ridiculously dedicated, you could get multiples of the same type of Superior and a whole lot more of them to make even bigger and wibblier creations. Well, at least these have more creative play value than Metallion's one-step changing gimmick subline. Anyway, I got all of the Season 2 Mix-X-Change Superiors. This building toy needlessly took a lot of precious time, so thank you for watching all the way to the end, and be sure to like, subscribe, and comment and all that, and until next time.